Hi there, and welcome to Dork Wars Live, your galactic hub for all things Star Wars. And that's pretty much it tonight because we're talking Star Wars Celebration 2023, the European tour is what I'm going to call it, the European tour, because they're in London this year. I'm a little sad it didn't come to the East Coast, but what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Go to Europe.
I guess so, but I mean that's a haul for me. I don't think I'm going to make it there. So this is my first Dork Wars live in a while. Grant had a stint, a couple of. Did you do 2 episodes or just one?
I did just one a couple weeks ago, where we had 100 subscribers on YouTube during that.
And it was a good one. We did, and now we're down to 99. So
we're going to hit 100 again.
Yeah. So if you're on the stream, go find some of your friends. Tell them to join in, sub, and listen to all the greatness that we're going to be getting into tonight. And DJ, you are right. No hat tonight. I'm having a good hair day. You know, well, I was having a good hair day. But yeah, that's like my thing, I guess, is the hat. But not tonight. Tonight this is just a thrown together. We're doing this stream. We're going to talk some Star Wars Celebration. All the announcements are initial reactions. While that was about 10 hours ago that it wrapped up, it being in London and all, it wraps up here around close to 1 o'clock. And over there, I believe it would be like almost 6. So, but tonight, I guess we can do the now hear this music. I don't actually have a, actually, no, we can't. No, we're not there yet. First, I have to talk about the merchandise.
Merchandising? What's that? Merchandising. Come, I'll show you. Open up the store.
We have got Dork Wars, the t-shirt, Dork Wars, the hoodie, Dork Wars, the coffee mug, and yes, Dork Wars, the all-exclusive backstage passes to Star Wars Celebration 2023 in my backyard, because we can't get the ones for London because it's already going on and I can't afford them anyway. But you have to find your own way here. I'm not paying that. But seriously, check out Dork Wars, the merchandise store. You can find that on our link tree. You can find that on our website, dorkwarspodcast.com. And there that is. Yes. Check out our store. We have everything that you would ever want to put on your body for Dork Wars, except for underpants. No Dork Wars the underpants yet. We need to get into those, Grant.
Yeah, I think that those would sell well. I think having Wesley's face on someone's butt would be very attractive and would be great bedroom wear.
We'll get Wesley on each cheek. How about that?
Wesley on one cheek,
yes,
Dietrich
Dork Wars
on
the
other.
flamethrower. Oh. Take my money. But Dork Wars, the podcast, is also part of the Red 5 Network.
This podcast is part of the Red 5 Network. For more Red 5 Network podcasts, visit red5network.com.
Yes, the Red 5 Network. Check out all the great Red 5 Network shows at bio.link/Red5. They've got every kind of show you could think of. Breakdowns, explanations, general discussions, opinion pieces, rockin' music in the case of Rockin' Rebel Radio. Oh gosh, Rebel Rock Radio. This is going to be hard to transition. We had a show recently. Our friend DJ, who is listening right now, he's in the chat, very active. Might be the only one there, and that's okay. But he is a part of a show called Rebel Rock Radio. They had to change their name from Rogue One Radio recently. So they're going through a shift, but check them out. They're on Thursday nights. Great show. Love those guys. But the Red 5 just has everything you could ask for. So go on and check out the Red 5 Network. And as always, we would like you to like and subscribe to Dork Wars, the podcast. Yes, more. Like, subscribe. Oh, we got another. It looks like we got someone else watching. I can see how many people are watching our cast in the top left, and it's always nice to see that number go up at least just a little bit. So check us out, like and subscribe. Tell your friends about Dork Wars, the podcast. We've been on a kind of a hiatus here the last little bit, but we are steadily coming back, trying to get back in the groove of things. Grant is a father now. Grant
That I am.
I think this is the first time we've been on. Yeah, I think it's the first time we've been on here since Grant has been a father. Welcome to the order of fatherhood.
It feels good to be here, but no one said it was going to be so tiring.
Yeah, well, I think I told you that several
You
times.
did. Several.
Like
several
yesterday.
times.
Maybe like probably. Yeah, think the day you found out you and your wife. So I'm going to go on and play the Now Hear This music because all of this is news. I did not make an intro video for our main topic, which is, of course, Star Wars Celebration. But here's some Now Hear This.
Now hear this! Now hear this!
Now you hear this, whoever you are.
So tonight, we are talking Star Wars Celebration 2023, day number 1. And what a day it was.
A huge day.
Right out of the gate, we get crazy announcements. I think I don't know. I think the first part of the day was very exciting. And I think as time went on, things just, I don't know. They just kind of declined for me. And of course, we've got 3 more days. We've got 3 more days of Star Wars Celebration, so you can't give it all in the first day.
Yeah.
But those first couple hours were phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, for us on the East Coast, waking up and seeing all this stuff, it's like, oh my God, this and this and that and this. I mean, it was a great start to the day. I think they came out swinging because they know that they had come out strong to keep any interest and give hope back to the galaxy of Star Wars fans. And I think they did that.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that. I think we've gotten a lot of great content lately. I wouldn't say they had to come out swinging. I didn't know they were going to come out swinging so hard. So, Grant, did you have to work today? Today is Good Friday.
I did indeed have to work.
There are some places
today.
that. I did not. I did not have to work. So I woke up kind of early, but I didn't wake up. I think it started at 7 a.m. here on the East Coast. And I was awake around then, but I was just hanging with the family, not really paying attention to anything. And then it was like an hour and a half. Like, oh gosh, Star Wars Celebration is on. What am I doing? It kind of snuck up on me. I knew about it yesterday. I fell asleep and I woke up and I was like, oh, it's on now. It's on. So I tune in and I see your guys' text thread, like our whole Dork Wars text thread. And oh my gosh, like, out of the gate, we have 3 new movies or movie series, maybe. We don't know quite all the details yet, but 3 different movie projects that are going to be launching soon.
Yes.
Or in the works soon.
And I'm so glad that they didn't say how many, they didn't say it's going to be a trilogy for these. They didn't say it's going to be anything like that. We don't know. It could be a series of movies. It could be one-off movies like Rogue One was technically. And that makes it somewhat exciting.
It does. It kind of opens up a lot. There's so much you can do. One of these projects is 25,000 years before Phantom Menace.
The Dawn of the Jedi movie.
We get like the beginning, the Dawn of the Jedi. Oh my gosh, I'm excited about that. I'm just. I don't know. I'm over the moon because this is different. This is something that we haven't seen before. I think Star Wars has really been getting into things that we haven't seen a whole lot of. We're really kind of testing waters, I think, in the Star Wars universe right now with shows such as Andor. That's something that's kind of, it's Star Warsy, but it's like a darker Star Wars. It's not something that we've seen projected in that way on through the TV media, through the movies, through any like live action medium. And I think that did really well. I mean, the fan reaction today to everything that was Andor was fantastic. It seemed like everybody was loving on some Andor. So I think we're testing out new waters. This is going to be a James Mangold project. I think it's going to be great because he is the one who headed up he was part of Logan.
Yes,
he was responsible for the Logan movie.
Yeah, he directed Logan. He directed Ford versus Ferrari is his other one. And this movie he described as it's going to be a kind of biblical epic, if you will. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the Jedi came to be. Whether the Sith first and then the Jedi, or the Jedi first and then the Sith. Maybe we'll actually find out.
What came first, the chicken or the egg? The bad guys or the good guys?
I have a feeling that James Mangold's going to take a stab at that, and hopefully somebody does get stabbed
with a lightsaber. I wonder if they'll have lightsabers yet. I wonder if they'll be like swords.
You see, there's so much that we don't know about this, and one of the big things that we learned they put up a timeline when they're announcing these movies, and this was the first one they announced. We see the timeline says Dawn of the Jedi, which is where this movie's taking place. Then the Old Republic, as in SWTOR, KOTOR games. I'm just like, and everyone's ecstatic about that. Then, of course, the High Republic, Fall of the Jedi, so forth and so on, that we know. But it's just so far back. We have nothing. It's nice going into unknown territory.
Yeah, it is. It is. I don't feel like we get into that enough with Star Wars, unfortunately. And like I said, we've been doing that lately, I think. And of course, we still play around in that whole 70-year time span we've been playing around in since 1977. But now we're starting to go outside the realms of that. You have, of course, the High Republic series that's done really well among readers and people who tune in to that stuff and like to read. There's some people that's just not their thing. But anyone that's taken the time and enjoys reading and enjoys Star Wars literature has praised the High Republic for the most part. So that's new territory that Star Wars is going into. Now we have this era way back, the Dawn of the Jedi. I can't wait for that. Interesting enough, James Mangold is also directing Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So I loved his work on Logan. And if he can bring that kind of heart and passion to a Star Wars project and an Indiana Jones project, I'm going to be happy. If it's got the heart, I think it will shine through. What I'm hoping.
It seems that Lucasfilm Studios kind of have his trust to be given this last Indiana Jones film that's ending an era, a franchise, and also starting a new one in Star Wars, a new kind of era, if you will.
Yeah, I mean that's big. That's big stuff. If Lucasfilm is trusting you that much, you must have really impressed them. I'll tell you, I know we talk really bad about Kathleen Kennedy a lot, and I don't think she's perfect. I don't think she's great or anything. But I think she's doing better. I think, and I don't know. There's people out there who know more about this whole battle between her and Lucasfilm that's either true or not true. I don't know. I have no idea. But I think Star Wars is going in a good direction in general. So the next portion of this news I want to talk about is the Dave Filoni film or series of films or whatever the heck it's going to be. It is about time, man. Dave Filoni heading up some movies. Yes, please. And it's going to tie together the Disney Plus Mandoverse. And it's all this is what we've been waiting for. This is probably the most excited I am about any of these projects as far as the movies go.
I'm very excited about it, but also at the same time, it's a little bittersweet Because if they're talking about a movie to culminate the stories of The Mandalorian and Ahsoka's show and all these other shows, it means that those shows are coming to an end sooner rather than later because they're already looking at the end game of it. So while I'm excited for it, it is a little bittersweet.
But you got to look though. The Mandalorian is in its 3rd season. It seems like, how much more can we milk out of Din Djarin and Grogu traveling the universe, doing side quests, and they kind of poke around to get to the point of the story most seasons. And while I'm not, I don't think that's horrible. And even this season, I don't think they've done that as much this season. They've had, a couple episodes, but you're going to run out of those ideas in a story that is based around 2 characters such as Din and Grogu. And Ahsoka, I don't think the Ahsoka show is going to be more than a season. It may be, but we'll talk about the trailer later. But as epic as that looks, I don't know, man. It might just be a one-off season, and then we get the repercussions of that in this movie. The Book of Boba Fett. A lot of mixed reactions. There's mixed reactions in my own heart about the Book of Boba Fett, honestly. So whether they do another season of that, I don't know.
It's tough to say, but thinking on the Book of Boba Fett and this whole thing, at the post-credit scene, we see Cobb Vanth is alive in the back of the tank. We still haven't seen him come back yet. So I still think there's more story that they're going to tell. I think that Mando season 3 is going to lead right in. Maybe we'll see Cobb Vanth in these last 2 episodes of Mando season 3. In fact, the second to last episode has been seen by those at Celebration right now. So they could probably tell us if we look on Twitter hard enough. But I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah. And before we keep going on, welcome Nick, the Backyard TARDIS. Thanks for joining us tonight, my friend. Always good to see you.
On our last live. He was my co-host.
Yeah, dude, I went back and watched that. Fantastic show. I was over the moon. It's nice to know that I don't have to be here. I can just throw the reins to someone else and it worked out. But yes, I think these stories are coming to an end. It's all going to culminate in this movie. But if we've learned anything about Disney and like Marvel, if you have a movie, there is a way to set up the next phase of whatever story you're going to tell. And I really think we're going to start getting that mix between movies and TV shows like the MCU. I think it's a good thing. I think it's going to be nice because obviously the shows and the movies are connected in the Star Wars universe, like Clone Wars and Rebels and all those shows are connected to the main movies, but they don't. It's not like they go hand in hand. It's not like you have all these different connecting wires between everything the way that the MCU does it. And now it seems like we're going to get more of that format, maybe not to the degree of the MCU, but to a degree.
That is true.
See what Nick says here. Okay, all right, because they have said the scripts for season 4 are already written. Yeah, I don't think it's coming. Yeah, you're right. I know Grant said a little bit earlier that he thinks it may come in. It may or may not. But I think the Mandalorian is definitely going to lead into this big movie that Dave Filoni's doing. I think the last show we're going to see, the last thing we're going to see on Disney Plus show wise before this movie. And who knows? It might be a Disney Plus only. I hope it's a theatrical release. Love theatrical releases, especially Star Wars.
It'll be a theatrical release.
I think they'd be dumb not to do that. It'd have to be, yeah.
They're
but
missing out
I think
on
the last thing that we're going to see. Yeah, you're right. But I think the last thing we will see is Mandalorian, and I would bet it's his own show, probably season 4. I bet you, because dropping those scripts are already released. Now dropping that he's doing a movie. Of course, Ahsoka's coming out in August. We have, who knows about another Book of Boba Fett. That's part of this Mandoverse thing. Rangers of the New Republic is no longer happening.
Yeah, but we do have Skeleton Crew, which is supposed to tie in with this season of Mando. So maybe next episode or the final episode, we see the Skeleton Crew crossover with Jude Law, and then from there, that's part
That is
of it.
true.
We know. So who knows? That could be part of it.
Yeah,
But
that is true. Yeah. So that will probably be part of this Mandoverse that we have going on that will be in this upcoming Dave Filoni film. And I didn't even think of that. We're definitely going to get some Skeleton Crew news, I think, the next couple days. I'm thinking tomorrow around 10 a.m. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
they
That'd
did
be
show
cool.
off some footage from
That
it
would be
today.
cool.
I haven't been able to find it anywhere, but they did show off some footage from Skeleton Crew, and people were excited about it. They saw about 8 minutes of an episode, they said.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we will find that. I know I will find that. Nick is correct. I think Rangers has been folded into Mandalorian. That's what it seems like. It seems like they've kind of. I really think that this story that they have going on with Dr. Pershing getting all mind flayed and Tavo, can I is Taya? What's his name?
Teo,
Commander. I think it's Tavo.
Tavo.
Teo. Yeah, I think you're right. Tavo, Teo, someone else.
I think it's
But that I think that whole storyline is a Rangers of the New Republic storyline. It doesn't seem like it's not pushing Mandalorian forward at all. It's just not. And Nick is also right here. Also noticed that the Bad Batch has been setting up some ideas from the Mandalorian with cloning. Yeah, they definitely have. I think there's no coincidence that these two shows were running at the same time for a little bit. No coincidence at all. But yeah, going back to Rangers, I think Rangers of the New Republic is kind of some of those ideas are being incorporated into the Mandalorian season 3. I think they knew way back when they were filming this that Rangers wasn't happening. So we're kind of getting a mix of those stories because there's ideas in that story arc that are definitely going to be part of this whole big Thrawn ordeal that is absolutely coming. The ideas that we see, we have Empire agents infiltrating the New Republic like they've been reformed, and we're going to see some of that definitely bleed into this whole Thrawn ordeal. Cannot wait to see it. So, kind of a closing statement for me. Thank God Dave Filoni is doing a theatrical release or a big movie. I'm relieved. I trust him. Love that guy. And I think this is going to be amazing.
And I think it's just the beginning of Dave Filoni getting some movies. I think it's like, okay, I've shown what I can do here. Now give me the reins and let me go running wild for a little bit.
I'll tell you what, if Dave Filoni doesn't just end up being, and he already has so much control over the story that's being told in Star Wars. If he's just not the end all be all for the Star Wars story at some point, I don't even want it. I think he's earned that right. And Nick has some high hopes for it, man. He says the only movie he has faith in.
I
That's
don't know. The
coming
Dawn
out.
of the Jedi movie, I think, is going to be good. And I have some faith, and I have an argument that we'll talk about here about the last movie that was announced.
Yeah. Speaking of the last movie that was announced, there is a movie, of course, untitled, that is going to feature Rey Palpa Skywalker. She is going to be heading up a new Jedi Order and fending off the threats that come against her new order. And this is going to be directed by Charmaine Obad Chinoy, who has directed Miss Marvel, which I do know I have seen, and I've not seen Saving Face that she's also done. I have not seen that, but Miss Marvel, I think, is an interesting movie, or an interesting show. I like the storytelling. I like the way that she's done that. I think she's treated that show very well. So I can't wait to see what she does with Rey. I don't think Rey Skywalker, Rey Palpatine, is a bad character on her own. I don't think Daisy Ridley is a bad actor. I think that the writing for the sequel trilogy was not the best, and they did a bad job with her character.
Yeah. And
But there's
this,
potential.
yeah, there's certainly potential. And this film takes 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker, so we got a buffer there. And why I'm more hopeful for this than I was about the sequel trilogy, even though the sequel trilogy is not my favorite, it's by far my least favorite. I think I've actually only watched all three movies one time.
But we had hope in the sequel trilogy before it came out. I know we did.
We had hope up until
we did not have
The
a
Last
podcast
Jedi
at that time.
came
We
out.
were not part of a pod.
When The Last Jedi, after The
Yeah.
Last Jedi came out, it was just like, and when every writer and director
Well,
got
no.
tossed out and everything, it just made it thrown around.
I'll tell you, I know this is kind of off topic, but I don't know if I've ever given this timeline. The Force Awakens, I went and saw that movie. And of course, the first Star Wars release, I was there on opening night, episode 7. Me and my dad and my sister, amazing time. Saw the movie. It called out to fans a lot. There was a lot of callbacks to New Hope. I mean, it's basically a New Hope, just kind of some updated graphics, some different characters, and there's some different things thrown in. But overall, it wasn't a bad movie. I think it set up the characters very well. Even though it was a rehash of New Hope story, even though it's kind of a cut and paste thing plot wise, it introduced the new characters very well. And you had who's Rey's parents mystery. There's a good mystery there. Finn, how did he end up being a stormtrooper? How does the First Order steal kids and stuff? We had really good stuff to kind of pick at and pick on. And those were all letdowns as we go through. The Last Jedi kind of pushed against Force Awakens and didn't answer Rey's parentage question, didn't answer how the heck the First Order were stealing kids and how they rose to prominence and that whole story. And then we get to Rise of Skywalker, and it's just, oh my gosh, it is like you are traveling hyperspace through a story. Boom, 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 boom. There's really just no emotion. There's just a lot of things happening in sequence. And I had faith. I had faith in The Last Jedi when I saw it. The first time I saw it, I was a little on the fence. The second, I don't know. There's parts about it I do like. There's parts about it I don't like. And I had a lot of faith for The Rise of Skywalker because I thought J.J. Abrams was going to come in and kind of finish what he started, kind of take the reins back and make the story work. And it just, I don't know. I can't say that I would have done any better, but it was tough.
Well, with basically two movies working against each other and not picking up and carrying on any of the plot points laid in the first one, it just, I mean, there's JJ gets a lot of crap about it, but I mean,
it was a tug of war.
It's a lose-lose situation. Either you just keep going down the path of abandoning all those plot threads you set up, and then we complain that hey, you never picked it up, or you pick them up and you have to rush everything. Either way, you lose.
It just seemed like a tug of war between Rian Johnson. Yeah, it just seemed like a tug of war between Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams. That's all it really seemed like. I agree with Nick here. My only complaint about episode 7 was how whiny Kylo was. Felt like episode 2, Anakin. I did not like Kylo Ren in Force Awakens. I did not care for him at all. However, he was one of the best things in The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. Not going to lie to you. He's one of my favorite parts of the sequel trilogy. Other than episode 7, I felt like he was just kind of crappy.
Yeah, but going back to this new movie about that's starring Daisy Ridley again as Rey. She's training her own Jedi Academy. That's what we know. She's restarting the Jedi Order. And one of the reason I'm so excited about this is that it doesn't have any of the preconceptions that the sequel trilogy did. We knew in the sequel trilogy that Luke, Han, and Leia were still around. They were still alive. So we kind of like, okay, when they're going to come in, what are they going to do? We knew the New Republic should have been set up. We knew all those things. Now, we don't have any preconceptions about what happened. The New Republic got blown up. The Capitol did. We don't have any Han, Luke, or Leia. We have the only character we know that's going to be there is Rey. We may see Finn. We may see Poe. We may see some other minor characters that showed up in the sequel trilogy. But we don't have any of that preconception of what it's supposed to be like we did with the sequels. And that's why I think it's set up to be more receptive to the audience than the sequels was.
I think so too. You get a little space from legacy characters. And that's one thing that everyone bombs the sequels for, me included. They treated the legacy characters horribly. And they did. They really took Han, Luke, and Leia, and they kind of regressed them back to the way they were in A New Hope, except for Luke. He regressed even farther than that. He went back to New Hope, Luke, and then down. Han was back to being a gangster. Leia was back to just being part of the resistance, of whatever big faction was trying to come against them. So, like, for one, legacy characters did no favors for the sequel trilogy. We don't have that problem anymore. If this is, I don't know. I don't know that. What's Finn's actor? I cannot think of his name right now.
John Boyega.
It's on the tip of my tongue. John Boyega. I don't know that John Boyega will come back to Star Wars. He's not had very good things to say.
I can't blame him.
I don't know if he'll come back.
They basically made a character, and he just stood around and didn't do anything important for 3 films.
Yeah. I think his character was treated horribly.
Yeah.
When you look at the marketing for Force Awakens, it looks like the Finn show. It looks like Finn's going to be a Jedi. It looks like Finn's going to be the main character. It looks like Finn's going to have all this great stuff happen to him. And I think that at the beginning it does, like, oh my gosh, it's so emotional to see the red handprint on the First Order trooper's helmet. And then he freaks out. And then he defects from the First Order and escapes. Then after that, it all goes downhill for his character. He goes through all this development through the Force Awakens, and he's like, yes, I'm on board with the Resistance. And then the very next movie, he wakes up and tries to escape. Like, it
was just a complete regression of his character. It was, it was,
and then the whole struggle in the last movie, Rise of Skywalker, when he's like, I got something to tell you, Rey. I got something to tell you. And he just won't tell her. And we're led to believe he's Force sensitive, not that he's in love with her. It's just lazy writing, bad writing. They
rushed it.
I hate it because they did. And it was such a great premise. It was such a good start. I think the sequel trilogy has a lot of good ideas on the foundation. Good ideas, not great execution. Then Rey comes out and she's just the best at everything, and she's no development. And even if she's supposed to be the main character, that doesn't bother me. But give her some development. Give John Boyega, give Finn his due. Poe was a nothing character in Force Awakens, except for the first 20 minutes. But then he's gone for the rest of the movie. And in the second movie, he makes a yo mama joke at the beginning of the movie. and then he's a butthole to the leadership of the Resistance the rest of the movie. And the leaders of the Resistance aren't very forthcoming with their ideas. I don't know. It's just not great. It's all the promise those characters have were not great. But it's good that we're getting a fresh start with maybe the premise of these characters, maybe the foundation.
I'd love to see.
Yes, I agree.
Finn and Poe come back. I hope Finn is being trained in the Jedi Academy, or actually already has been trained. I hope that Poe is back because we saw Oscar Isaac absolutely demolish acting in Moon Knight, and so we know it wasn't a him problem. Yes. I mean, he's been in Dune, he's been in Moon Knight, he's been in all these other films that have done fantastic.
Yeah.
So obviously it wasn't a him problem.
And was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, his acting in Moon Knight is just stellar.
Dude, it is next level. Dude, he plays 3 characters.
And he kills it.
3 characters. He plays 3 characters in the same body.
And he kills distinct.
I never doubted him one time.
It's just, I hope
the guy's got acting chops.
I hope they bring them all back. I hope they fix it and they make it right, because I mean, I hate it for the kids, like Nick was saying here, whose first Star Wars movies that they saw were or not their first one, but the first one that they know that's new for them, that they're excited about. For me, it's the prequel trilogy. I'm okay with the prequel trilogy. I like the prequel trilogy probably more than most because that's what I grew up on. But for those kids on the sequels, that's what they get, where it makes literally no sense. At least the prequels made sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, the prequels, and I grew up on them too. Well, I did have the luxury of seeing the originals before Phantom Menace came out. I got to see the mid '90s releases, which is great. Um, but yeah, I know we're harping on the sequel trilogy. We're supposed to be talking about Star Wars Celebration, but those three movies they don't tell a complete story between the three, a cohesive story. Just doesn't work on a plot from movie to movie basis.
Yeah.
And that's
But
why I'm very happy we're getting a fresh start. I do want to see Finn as a Jedi, though, because he's in the Lego movies, which I know are not canon. I mean, obviously, they're so goofy and wacky. But in the Christmas movie, he is training to be a Jedi. And I want to see Finn Jedi. I want to see the Jedi Finn. And I want him to have a backbone. I don't want him to be so unsure of himself. And I know he struggles with that, and that's okay. I think that's an okay character trait. But it can't get in the way of his progression. Like, it can't make him revert in a weird way, like they did like Luke or something like that.
yeah. And the other thing that I want to see here that I think is
Broom
kind of
Boy.
being set up
I
with
want to
this,
see Broom Boy.
I want to see Grogu. Forget Broom Boy. Who cares about Broom Boy? Grogu, man. Grogu could be here and help Ray with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Grogu will be about, what, maybe close to 100?
so he might be able to talk now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Does that make Grogu like 12 or 13 in Yoda years? I don't know.
I don't know how that works. All I know is that he'll be old enough to walk and talk and actually be able to use his force powers and maybe be a Mandalorian too. Who knows? But I think
I hope
there's a
Yoda.
great-
I hope Yoda's people. Sorry, you keep going.
I think there's a great opportunity for them to make him a big part of this sequel trilogy and to bring in the Mandalorian fans and reunite Star Wars with the sequels and the Mandalorians and bring it all together and make everyone happy.
Nick is correct here. Lego Holiday Special is the best sequel movie. But yeah, this movie could be Bo-Katan with the Darksaber. We could unite all the Star Wars fans under one movie. That'd be nuts. I don't think that's happened since Return of the Jedi.
You mean Empire Strikes Back?
So yeah. I mean, overall, everyone's still on board on Return of the Jedi. Don't get me wrong on that.
Yeah.
But I just I hope it's a fresh start for Rey. I think her character, I don't think there's anything wrong with her character traits. I think just the writing was not great. And this new movie is going to give us, I think it's going to give us some great stuff. And I always get my hopes up for new Star Wars projects. I can't help it. I always do. Anytime I hear new Star Wars, I'm excited for it. I love Star Wars. But like you said, I hope Grogu showing up would be great. I want to see some Mandalorians. We saw no Mandalorian anything in the sequel trilogy, which, if you think about it, I mean, there's Boba Fett for the original three. We didn't know he was a Mandalorian, whatever, that kind of filled in later. And the prequels, we have Jango. We have that cool Mandalorian armor and stuff. We don't see any Mandalorian at all, anything in the sequel trilogy. Yeah, so that's one thing that's empty about it. And I've never thought about that till now. Just been talking. There's no Mandalorian-esque person, and I think the closest may be Captain Phasma as like a special triangle. But even that's nowhere even near. So I don't know. I would love for this movie to come through.
Yeah, but
Do you
we've been
have
talking about
anything
movies
else
for a
to
long
say?
time,
Oh,
but we have a
sorry.
lot of TV shows that we got to talk about, and that's where I think the real excitement is lying right now for the close future. So let's talk some TV shows.
Yeah. Let's do it, because these TV shows are coming out relatively soon. And what do you want to start with, Grant? I'm going to give it to you, man. I've been driving a lot tonight. What do you think?
I think let's start with Andor season 2. Let's go in the order that they talked about it. I think that just makes the most sense to go through the day the way that we would have if we were at Celebration. And so with that in mind,
I don't remember the first hour and a half. I wasn't there.
I wasn't there either.
Andor season 2.
Andor season 2 is where they started. And it's one of the most exciting ones. In fact, They actually did a prisoner escape. There's a ton of people who dressed up like the prisoners did, and they did a whole run for like they were doing the escape ending sequence, and it was really cool to see the videos about it. But they talk about it. It's coming in August in 2024 is when season 2 will premiere, and everyone who was in season 1 basically is coming back for season 2, and they're adding more people. So I'm really excited about it.
That's amazing. And usually we don't get season 2s and stuff usually come out a little bit quicker. Not The Mandalorian, because we waited 2 years between seasons 2 and 3. But the undertaking for Andor has got to be immense, because if we have anything to the level of graphics and stuff, just cinematography in the next season, that's got to take a long time, because the first season of Andor, just first off, right off the bat, looks fantastic. It looks gritty when it needs to look gritty. It looks polished when it needs to look polished. There's nothing looks fake, like there's some things you can pick out of certain shows and stuff. And it's getting better as technology gets better. But even sometimes in The Mandalorian, there are things that it don't look off. It just looks computer generated. Andor didn't have anything, I think, that looked computer generated. It looked like it was there. It looked fantastic. So to have that level of craftsmanship.
Yeah, it's certainly good. They did say that they started filming season 2 way back in November of last year, and they plan to finish August of this year. Then they have a whole extra year just for the effects and to polish it up. So it seems like they're going to take their time. They're going to make it look good, and it's going to be great to see what they come up with for season 2. And we get to see our favorite boy eat some more of his mom's cereal.
That's right. That's what I need to see. I've seen so much Andor. Andor was like the main topic of the day. All in all, I think there were more Andor panels than anything else. We had the making of season 1. That was a great panel to watch. And then, of course, we had Genevieve come out. Genevieve O'Reilly, who plays Mon Mothma. She had her own little interview, and then Diego Luna had his own little interview. It was great. It was a great day. And Andor was one of those shows that was really split on the internet. If you look over Twitter and Facebook and comments and posts, and a lot of things are now, it's just how the nature of social media and the like, but it seemed way more split online. Everyone just seemed like they either liked it or they didn't. That was it. You either liked it really good, you thought it was the greatest Star Wars ever, or you thought it was crap. And today, man, it just seemed like everybody was receptive. Of course, you're at Star Wars celebrations. I mean, you're just happy to be there. But even online, I didn't see anyone dogging Andor online today, where most of the content was Andor. And I think that's a step in the right direction. I think people have warmed up to that show. It's an amazing show.
Yeah, the one important note, which is a little bit on a sadder side, is the showrunner, Tony Gilroy, did confirm that season 2 is the last season of Andor. So we only get 2 seasons of it. So the next one's going to be the last one, and that's going to wrap up the story that they wanted to tell with Andor. I'm glad they're not stretching it out. I know originally it was supposed to go for like 5 seasons, and then it got cut, and then apparently got cut all the way down to 2.
Where did that come from?
I don't.
Yeah, I want to know. I want to know, though, was that ever official? Was that ever like an official thing? I don't know. I know I heard it, and I know it seemed official. And I remember talking about it. I talked about it on Rogue One Radio, now Rebel Rock Radio. I remember talking about it when the first trailers were coming out at last Celebration. It was last Celebration when they showed that trailer. I think it was the first trailer they showed on the first day. And that evening, I was on Rogue One Radio at the time, Rebel Rock Radio now, with Steve, and of course with Ro, and we talked. Yeah, man, they said there's going to be like 4 or 5 seasons of this thing, and I was like, man, I mean, that's cool. They're really going to have to slow down on the pacing They're going to have to really get into details, and I don't think we want that slow storytelling. I don't mind slow storytelling, but there's not only so much you can do with a character like Andor. As great as he is, we know the end, so you don't want to drag it out too long. And I think the first season was paced perfectly. Some people thought it was slow, thought it was perfect. Just imagine if it was 5 seasons, it'd be even slower. You know,
that whole first 3 episodes that everyone complains about that super slow would have been the entire first season.
Yeah. Welcome, Georgia Cab. I've seen you on our stream before, so thank you. Welcome to Dork Wars, the podcast, Dork Wars Live. She says, I guess she, correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry if I'm wrong. I love Andor, but it could have been more focused. Maybe cutting its episode count isn't a bad thing. I like the pacing. And I get why some people don't. It did feel slow in parts, though. I think especially that first half of the season felt a little slower. And then once you get him in like the prison and everything starts going, oh man, I messed up. Forgive me, please. My bad. But welcome to the show. Thank you for coming in. I think once you get past that first hump, that first half of the season, it really starts driving. The prison was fantastic. Love seeing the prison. Love seeing the final episodes back on what's the home planet? What was his home planet that he lived on? I can't think of it now.
I cannot think of it either.
That's gonna bother me. There's so many planets rattling around in my head now. But fantastic stuff. Great acting. The acting was fantastic. I think that Diego Luna did a great job portraying Andor. He did in Rogue One. I think he did good in Rogue One. Yeah, Ferrix. My man. That's great. I like this guy a lot. Yes, Ferrix. That's correct. He did a great job in Rogue One, but I don't know. There wasn't a lot of depth to Cassian Andor, and that's why I wasn't initially excited about the Andor show. It's just there was not a lot of depth there. But through the season, man, we dig into his mother, the girl that he was in love with, and so much there. And I think that another season of this, if they pace it about the same, maybe throw in a little bit more action and maybe get it to where it's going. We have a lot to tie up. Luthen's a big thing to tie up. We got to know what's up with Luthen. He's one of my favorite characters in the whole show. As much as I like Andor, I think he's the least compelling character in the show. Not compelling. I think just we know where he ends up. So it's not as crucial to, kind of know everything. But Luthen is a character I want to know what's going on. I thought he was going to die in the first season. I'm glad he didn't.
Yeah, I think Luthen will die in the second season sometime, but for sure, definitely interested in seeing where it's going. I'm glad they're not dragging it out. If they said, we can make this in 2 seasons and make it great, I'd rather have 2 great seasons than 5 mediocre seasons. That's for sure. I
agree. Or even 5 okay seasons. I mean, there's shows that I've watched. I mean, this is kind of getting out of the Star Wars stuff, but look at like How I Met Your Mother. I love How I Met Your Mother, but it gets really bogged down kind of in the middle. Smallville. I love Smallville. The first 3 seasons of Smallville are phenomenal. The last like 2 or 3 seasons are really, really good. The middle just gets, and it's okay. I mean, it got really bad there in season 4 and like 5, but there were some okay seasons, and it was just like, it's just too long. Yeah. And I think that's something Disney's doing great with these Star Wars shows. They're not making, like, there's not a ton of episodes in most of these shows, and they're not, I don't like Mandalorian. I don't think Mandalorian's going to go another 2 or 3 seasons. I think season 4 might be it for the Mandalorian. Maybe keep the characters. Don't get rid of the characters, but tell the story you want to tell. Then get out of there before everyone hates it. That's the problem with the Arrowverse.
Yeah,
the Flash is.
I was going to break up the Arrowverse. Arrow went on a little long. Flash is definitely on too long. Like I love
Dude,
the
those
Flash, I
shows-
love Grant Gustin, but that
I
show
do
has
too.
gone on for no reason it needed to
And
be
they're-
9 seasons.
Yeah, and they're just pulling out crazy stories, and everyone has to love it. Like all the main characters have to get together and have these. It's just it's too much. It's too much, and everyone's getting bored with it. End it.
Yep.
And I
And
think
just like
that it's a
that,
good move.
yeah, and just like that to end that there, and ending the Andor at season 2, we'll end our conversation about Andor. Move right on along to the second show they
That's
talked
right.
about, The Acolyte. And
Oh,
this is one that I'm super excited about. So started off, The
too.
Acolyte is being has the showrunner Leslie Headland. So she came on stage to discuss it, everything like that, and she was actually came on stage with a Wookiee Jedi. This is the first actual live action Wookiee Jedi we've ever seen. And
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
later revealed that it was played by the Chewbacca actor Jonas Sudeikis. He plays this character during
All right.
the Acolyte series.
I can't wait. I'm so stoked for this show. We're getting the Sith side. We're getting the dark side of the Force's story. Before the Phantom Menace. I think we'll see a young Chef Palpatine, maybe. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but maybe. I can't wait to see that. Maybe I would really like to see Darth Plagueis in this show. We've never seen him in live action. We've never seen him, I don't think, in animation. I think we've only read about him and heard about him.
We've never seen Darth Plagueis the Wise, and I'd love to see him. It's going to be awesome. It's all right. So Headland did confirm that it is set during the High Republic. It's being told from the villain's point of view, and it's described as Frozen meets Kill Bill, which is a very interesting way to describe something.
That's weird. That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I did not know what to think about that. So it might be. I don't know how long Wookiee's lifespan is, Nick, but if it is, he's old.
I don't know though, man. Wookiee lifespans are pretty long.
Yeah, but the High
Chewbacca's
Republic
been
era goes on for what, 500 plus years? Or no, it's more than 500 years because we go back 500 years and it's already so 1,000 years.
I think it's 1,000.
That Wookiee Jedi.
Yeah, but you said it was during the High Republic era, though. You said it was during the High Republic era, so
yeah, but we know it's right before the fall of the Jedi. It's right before we get to the prequels.
So yeah, the High Republic era really ends around the Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair point. That's the consensus, I believe. So, I think that it could be Boryaga, but I think they're going to go closer to Phantom Menace. That's my opinion. That might be wrong, but I think we're going to get closer to Phantom Menace, maybe a couple hundred years. And it'd be cool to see this as a story that takes place over a couple hundred years. Maybe do a season that's a couple hundred years before, and then do a season that's a little closer. I think we need the Darth Plagueis and Chef Palpatine story in live action.
Yeah.
Or animation. I wouldn't mind seeing an animation too. I think we need it on screen because we've never seen it before. And I'm someone who's always really liked mystery, like Han Solo. I like the mystery of Han Solo before the Solo movie came out. Not saying it's a bad movie or anything, but I like the mystery of Han Solo. I like him being this guy who's done it all. He's been all around the galaxy. He's made the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs, man. He's done it. He's done it, and you can't defute him. You can't refute what he's done because you weren't there.
Yeah.
And I like that kind of mystery, but I would like to see the Chef Palpatine and Plagueis story play out in more than just a book. I think the book's now non-canon, if I'm not mistaken. Technically, I don't know. Maybe it's not non-canon, but it's not canon yet. It's kind of like Darth Bane, stuff like that. Stuff that hasn't been outright refuted by Disney, but is part of Legends.
Yeah. So a few more things about the Acolyte that we did learn here. Some footage was shown, and it's the first footage from the Acolyte. And we see young Jedi, younglings being taught by a Jedi Master who's being played by the Squid Game's Lee Jung Jae. So we get to see him, and apparently a mysterious figure confronts a Jedi in a bar by a Jedi being played by Carrie Ann Moss, and they fight like they're kung fu. Everybody was kung fu fighting, apparently.
Like it.
Yeah, and there's a Jedi
And
that's
real
the
quick. I want to
same-
say hey to
Go ahead.
Andrew, the science fictionary. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, there's
Sorry.
a Jedi
Bad
who
internet.
is who is a Nemodian. So we get to see a Newt Gunray Jedi, and there's a
That's
whole lot
gonna
of
be
Jedi.
cool. They're not very mobile. Wait a minute. Whoa, no, I gotta go back to Nemoidian Jedi before you continue. I'm sorry. I gotta go back to Nemoidian Jedi. They are not very mobile. Anytime we see Newt Gunray, he's just kind of shuffling around. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know if I can see a Nemoidian Jedi. I can't wait to see it.
That's going to be very funny if he does just shuffle around like that. Like, that would be hilarious.
Why
But
don't you stab them or something with a lightsaber?
do something. It's a
can't do this.
Jedi. Oh man! Now there's two of them. But anyway, the last big thing from it is that dude, kind of. Oh, that's not a picture I needed to see.
That is not Star Wars. That is a it's a ripoff that's on the internet that you can't watch unless you're 18 or older.
So many Jedi lined up their lightsabers,
Sorry.
and apparently there's quite a few yellow lightsaber blades that are going to be in this. And it's been confirmed it will be premiering in 2024 on Disney Plus.
Love to see it. Can't wait. This is one that I think that a lot of people were worried was getting canned, was getting scrapped, was being put on the shelf, never to see the light of day. I saw a few folks that had their evidence and kind of gave their story about it and what they thought. And I never really bought into it because there was a lot of hype, and it's been a long time. I mean, this show was announced 2.5, 3 years ago, I think, at least.
It was part of that grouping with all the other shows that's been announced that we're starting to see too.
Yeah,
come through.
I mean, I think it was announced before Kenobi.
Yeah,
this was announced around Ahsoka. I think In and Ahsoka were announced around the same time, but we've heard updates about Ahsoka, like casting and things like that. The Acolyte has been pretty like no information. We got some casting a couple months ago, but that was it. Like we didn't know when they were going to start shooting or filming. And I think that discouraged people. I mean, it discouraged me a little bit, but I always thought it was going to happen because that's a story that hasn't been told from that point of view that I think is just going to go over so well with Star Wars fans. I think it's something we need to see, something I'd like to see. So,
yeah, and maybe you're right that the Acolyte will jump around and do different things, and maybe part of that jumping around and the whole idea that we kind of get from The Rise of Skywalker, which is one of the only really cool lore things we find out, is that Palpatine wanted to be killed by Rey so he could kind of take over her body, if you will. And so it'd be cool to see the cycle over and over again with each season of the Acolyte, where the Sith convinces their Padawan or their apprentice to kill them and take over their body, and just see the cycle continue.
Yeah, that would be neat. That would be cool to find out that that's really what's been going on this whole time. But I think that would discount Palpatine as a character if he was just some Sith Lord that's been doing this for a millennia or something.
Well,
I don't want that to happen.
Who says
I would like to see the Sith dagger.
Yes, Sith dagger would be great, but
It's done many horrible things.
The Sith dagger would be
So
great.
many horrible things.
But who says that Palpatine isn't the one that breaks that cycle? That could be the fun part, as we work towards getting to Palpatine breaking the cycle of the Sith taking over theirs, and then he just wants to do it to hit to Rey finally. But anyway, there's a lot that can go there. There's some footage. We finally got some information. We know it's coming next year. I'm just really excited about it.
Me too. And still we didn't get a ton of information, but we got some good. It's coming out. It's coming out, and it's a good premise. We know what the premise of the story is, and it's something I think that a lot of folks want to see. So
Yeah.
I'm all in.
All right. Well, moving right along, we
So
got
Grant,
some about the Mandalorian season 3, man. There's still a
we
little
did.
bit left. Yeah, we got a little bit there.
Oh, Katie Sack. Well, first, before we get to that, we had Carl Weathers. We had gosh, who are the other two? The Armor and
Carl
Moff
Weathers, Juan
Gideon.
Carlo Esposito,
They're
and Emily Swallow.
yes, correct. We had a panel with them today. That was just charming. I think it was great. It was good for laughs. It's watching those three. It's like anytime that I see Daniel Logan and Tamora Morrison get on stage together. Those guys are hilarious. Tamora Morrison's just a funny guy anyways, but him and Daniel Logan cut up, man. Like it's nobody's business. They have a real father-son relationship, kind of like they do in the movies, but they're hilarious. This was a really like wholesome, just fun little panel. And we talk about Carl Weathers' swagger and we get the Armor saying this is the way. It was a lot of that, and I really enjoyed that panel. I think it was light. It was fun to watch, and it begs the question: what's going to go on in the rest of season 3? I'm going to get to Katie Sackhoff in a minute, but Moff Gideon, he shows up to this panel and he hasn't been seen yet. We know he's been stolen. Do you think we're going to see some Moff Gideon in the rest of this season of The Mandalorian?
Yeah, I think the last 2 episodes, it's going to be all about Mr. Juan Carlo Esposito, and it's going to be amazing. I'm really excited. They confirmed that Rick Famuyiwa directed these last 2 episodes of season 3, so there's going to be some nice continuity there. There's going to be some great action. There's going to be a lot of great things from it, and I mean, Juan Carlo Esposito coming back. I mean, what a piece to be working with. What an actor to be working with. He's a person, not some type of object. What an actor to be working with to have, and all the other actors: Pedro Pascal, Katie Sackhoff, Juan Carlo, Carl Weathers, Emily.
Yeah.
I mean, just an amazing cast.
It's a fantastic cast of folks.
Yeah. So,
this isn't about. No, you go for it. You go for it. Great.
Well, I mean, it's going to be great. And one of the other things that we could talk about is, the other person who was there today was the one and the only Ahmed Best known as Jar Jar Binks, or now I guess best known as the Jedi who rescued Grogu.
Kieran, what's his last name? I can't think of it.
I don't know, but they even played it back to where he's actually related to, because he played the cousin of a character in Attack of the Clones.
He was just a background Jedi.
Yeah, it's so interesting how it all connects.
It is. And I love him. Ahmed Best. I think that he got a raw shake because of his. He's the character that portrayed Jar Jar. People hate Jar Jar. People should not hate Jar Jar. Should have given him a chance. Maybe he would have done better things in movies 2 and 3 had you guys not crapped all over him. I'm not speaking to whoever's listening or watching this right now. Sorry if I offended you personally. But Jar Jar's reception was horrible. And I think that's why he sticks to the background. He's a major player in the Senate, and he moves the plot forward immensely. I mean, gives the chancellors all his powers, this, that, and other. He suggests all that. But I think he got a raw shake. And Ahmad Best, I like seeing him on The Mandalorian. I like seeing he's the one that rescued Grogu. That's amazing. And Ahmad Best, I want to see more of him, whether it's as this Jedi or something else. I don't care. I like Ahmad Best. I think he's stuck with the franchise. He's proud that he played Jar Jar. He's proud of Star Wars. He's proud of the things he's done. So I want to see him stick with it, and I want to see him get the acclaims that he should. He should be getting the notoriety.
Yeah, he certainly should. There's a lot that goes on into it with Ahmad Best, with him. Jon Favreau also did mention that and kind of pointing towards what I was thinking and teasing at was the story of the Mandalorian may be coming soon to an end, coming to an end soon, and he thinks that the series is almost ready to that point to culminate. Lots of different things.
I'd agree.
Here. I mean, yeah, and I'm glad that he's not trying to stretch it out. But I mean, just
he's told a great story so far.
Yeah.
And the Mandalorian, who's to say that's Din Djarin? Who's to say that's Grogu? Who's to say that it's Bo-Katan? Who's the Mandalorian? Maybe we're all the Mandalorian. Maybe we're all the Jedi. Maybe we're all the Sith. I don't know. But I tell you what, Jon Favreau is doing a fantastic job. I think even this season, man, we've seen some great stuff. The story has moved in a great direction. We're lined up for a great penultimate and season finale episode. I just can't wait to see where it goes from here, and I'm loving it. He's created something great, and I'm glad he's not going to drag it out forever and ever and ever, because we know Grogu has longevity. You can tell stories about Grogu for the next couple decades.
Yeah, he really fits in there. So. Hope the characters stick around and not just die with the story. All right.
And I don't think that Din Djarin dies with the show. I think he'll probably be in some other stuff, here and there. I don't think it's the end. Obviously, he's definitely going to be in that movie. Oof, that movie's going to be heartbreaking. I feel like it'll be a sad movie. Now that we're talking about it. I feel like the Dave Filoni movie is going to end in tragedy. It's going to be the next Avengers Endgame.
It is Endgame.
If he calls this Star Wars The Mandalorian Endgame, I'm going to be sad. So.
I think you almost have to name it Heir to the Empire. And I think, I don't know if they will, but it almost feels like they're setting that up. And we'll talk about why later.
Well, I'll tell you what. That's a good segue.
That's a good segue into the Ahsoka. We're skipping Skeleton Crew. We'll come back to it, but that's fun because Ahsoka's the real big thing that we want to talk about anyway. This is.
Well, no. Wait, no. Got to put a hold on. Let's talk about Skeleton Crew first. I want to talk about Skeleton Crew first.
Skeleton Crew. Then we get to the real meat and potatoes of
because I'm so excited for Ahsoka.
Dude,
so excited for Ahsoka.
Yeah. All right. So Skeleton Crew. Let's not try and rush through this.
So if you don't want to hear about this, if you're getting tired of hearing us talk, skip ahead. You can't right now because we're live. But if you're listening to this later, skip ahead to Ahsoka.
So Skeleton Crew, set during the Mandalorian verse, during the same time. It's very akin to the Goonies in the type of flavor that's going for. Favreau confirmed it's been in development since the showrunner John Watts discussed the idea on the set of Spider-Man Far From Home. And they announced the directors for the show. The directors are John Watts, of course. He directed Spider-Man Homecoming. David Lowery, he directed The Green Knight. The Daniels, which are the guys behind directing Everything Everywhere All at Once, which has been a big phenomenon. If you guys have not heard about it, definitely go watch it. It's great.
Yes, it has.
Bryce Dallas Howard. People have been raving about Bryce Dallas Howard.
Of course.
She's a great director from The Mandalorian show. And Lee Isaac
Voice
Chung,
of Yaddle, director of Mandalorians, daughter to Ron Howard.
Well, we don't like to say that part.
Lady from
Ron.
Jurassic World.
We don't like to say that part with Ron because Ron directed Solo. So
He did not do a bad job directing. Solo's a good movie. It's just not a movie we needed or wanted. It was a good movie though.
Yeah. But that's kind of the main things. They showed off a trailer of Skeleton Crew to the crowd. Many kids living on a ship type of thing. An American are living in the Star Wars equivalent of like a suburb in America, and all sorts of different things like that. It's interesting to see. Jude Law apparently is portraying a Jedi though, or someone that's at least Force sensitive. So that's interesting. We just recently saw Jude Law do a number of other things. So seeing him as a Jedi will be really, really cool, I think, rather than playing the magical man himself, Dumbledore. He's now going to play a Jedi, which may could be Magical Man 2.
So I will say this, that I've never seen Jude Law up until he did Dumbledore and announced that he was doing Skeleton Crew. I've never seen Jude Law as like a action science fiction-y kind of actor. He's always been kind of like a rom-com, very romantic and deep movie kind of guy. And I think he's a great actor. Everything I've seen him in, he's great. I think I think it's a Christmas movie he's in. I don't know the name of it. My mom used to watch it all the time. He does this thing with this napkin. He's Mr. Napkin Head, and he puts this napkin on it. Anyways, great acting. He's fantastic. But to see him in some of this geeky stuff, to see him in kind of nerd culture, he was great as Dumbledore. I think he played a great Dumbledore. I can't wait to see what he does with this, because I think he'll bring some. For one, his name has just got gravitas. He's one of those like A-list actors, I think. So I don't know. I think we're going to see some good stuff from Jude Law. My boy Georgia is back up here again. Solo wasn't nearly as good as the backstory snippets we got for Han in the old Brian Daly novels. That backstory was epic. Solo was not epic. I can agree with you.
Yeah.
But still, I think overall, movie or not, I still like the mystery, though. I still like the mystery of Han Solo that we get in A New Hope. And that, flesh it out. It's fine to flesh out those characters, but I think sometimes the mystery is better. Keep it a secret. And yes, the backstory we had from the daily novels was fantastic. Love some Han Solo.
Yeah.
But anyway, Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew. It's very interesting. We'll see how it goes. But we didn't get too much information on it. It is coming out sometime next year in 2024 and stream on Disney Plus. And so that kind of wrapped up on Skeleton Crew. They didn't give a lot away. They're still finishing up filming and everything of that nature. So it's still a ways off. But then they got right into the big meat and potatoes.
But wait. So just kind of recap real quick before we move on. 2024, we have Skeleton Crew. We have the Acolyte, and there's one more. What was the other thing? Andor Season 2.
Andor Season 2.
So we've got a good slate, I think, because we have the newcomer, which is kind of Skeleton Crew. That's one it's got the most mystery around it. We don't really know exactly. We don't know the characters. We don't know the story. Like this, it's just kind of like it's happening in the Star Wars universe. We're going to be surprised by whatever happens, I think. Then we have the Acolyte. We know it focuses on the dark side and the Sith. So we kind of know the players. We kind of know the ideology of these folks. So we're coming at this from oh my gosh, we're seeing a story from the perspective of the dark side. That's new, that's fun, that's different. That's going to be cool. And then, of course, we have Andor Season 2, which we've seen Season 1. We know Cassian Andor. We know Mon Mothma. We know the players in this one. And that's the one that's going to continue that we're excited to see more of. So that's going to be fun as well. So 2024 is going to be a fun year for Star Wars. And I'm sure more is coming as well. I'm sure more is coming. But Grant, go on with what is the big meat and potatoes? What are we all excited about seeing today?
Rebel Seasons 5. Oh wait, no, Ahsoka. I'm sorry, but might as well.
Wait a minute. Re-roll it. Yes.
Re-roll that.
Bring it back.
Roll it back. It's Ahsoka, the actual series. We get trailers, we get people, we get names, we get to see the Rebels crew in live action. We get to see it all, which is why it's Rebel Season 5. So we get Rosario Dawson.
You didn't see Kanan, though. You didn't see Kanan.
Well, we also didn't see Kanan and...
Let's take a moment of silence. No, I'm just kidding.
We didn't see Kanan's kid either, so...
We did not see Kanan's son. He's there. Jason's aptly named.
Aptly named. A Jedi named Jason.
He's not Jason Solo.
Well,
that's right. He's not a Solo, but I'll take Jason Dune or Jason Syndulla.
Yeah, Jason Syndulla. But we have Rosario Dawson came out and was joined by the Sabine Wren actress, which we get to see a lot of Sabine in the trailer and all the things. Natasha Leah Bordizzo. And the first look at the character shown, she looks great. I mean, Sabine, one of the best Mandalorian characters.
She's got the flair.
She does. She's very spunky, shall we say?
Yeah. She's one of the only Mandalorians that kind of has like this artsy
personality.
You know, all the Mandalorians are very war. Let's kill things. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she has
all the Mandalorians are just like,
and
let's
all
hunt
the
stuff.
Mandalorians are just like a door.
But Sabine, she shines through in this. I think the little snippets we get, she seems charming. She's quick-witted like she is in Rebels. It's clear that the actress did her homework. If she was not a fan of Rebels from the start or seen it before now, she definitely brushed up and knows what the character's about. It's not like Rupert Friend in Kenobi, who say that guy said, I don't even know who this guy is. I ain't ever seen Rebels. I'm just playing the Grand Inquisitor.
That hurts so much.
But
that just hurts my heart.
Come on, at least lie to us, please. At least lie to me.
Yeah,
make me feel better.
But
it really seems like this actress has done her homework.
Yeah. We then find out that Hera Syndulla is going to be played by live action Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She came out on stage and everything, and we see a picture of her, and then they showed the trailer. And if you haven't seen the trailer yet, go do yourself a favor. Go watch that trailer because, oh my goodness.
Dude, I was pumped. I've seen it 5 times a day. I watched it by myself. I watched it with my dad. Then I watched it with my sister and brother-in-law. Then I watched it with all three of them. And it's just been, that's so much.
It's so good. I mean, we got
it's beautiful.
We got Dark Jedi, we got Sith, we got something of something. We got
Dark Jedi.
I mean, it's so amazing. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm trying not to cry. We get Lothcats, we got Sabine. I mean, there's just so much packed in here.
Lothcats, Lothal. We've got they're coming back to Lothal. You see Sabine, you see Chopper, you see Hera. You did not see Jeb. Or Zeb, Jeb. Who is Jeb? He's the guy who's making corn liquor on the mountain. But no, you didn't see Zeb, but we saw Zeb on Mandalorian last week, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
They did really good with him as a side note. Anyway, but he's most definitely going to be involved. We're going to get a whole reunion of the Rebel crew. You even see Ezra kind of on a data pad. You kind of see it's far off. He's far off, but that's his premiere in live action right there.
Yeah, we got.
But we're setting up a Rebels reunion.
We got these Darth Jedi. It looks like there's some that I don't know what they are, but it just, oh my goodness, dude! We get to see Thrawn.
That's what I'm
back of Thrawn.
I want to know.
Just like, yes.
I know.
Oh my goodness! It was.
I'm sure your wife is not very happy that you're lusting over Thrawn's back in this live action trailer.
I mean,
you don't know Grant is in love with this man.
Yes.
As well, you should be. He's fantastic.
Thrawn is fantastic, but I mean,
oh
my goodness, we get to see Chopper.
I do want to go back to what we do see Chopper doing his old choppy thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's in a ship trying to kill people. So I think one of my favorite parts of this trailer are I don't think they're Sith. Maybe they're Sith cultists or something who are force sensitive, but I love the term Dark Jedi because that is the term we got in Legends before we knew what Sith really were. They weren't just like, I think Darth Vader, by those standards, was a Dark Jedi, but he's really a Sith. But anyways, back in the day when we're getting Legends novels, before it was Legends, it was called the Expanded Universe. In Heir to the Empire, and in those novels, Jedi who did bad things were Dark Jedi, and it seems like these are Dark Jedi.
Yes, it so much seems like.
I mean, we're getting. When's the last time we've had new lightsaber on lightsaber combat Kenobi, we did. I mean, it was Kenobi versus Vader, and it was great. It was great, but it wasn't that acrobatic combat we got in the prequels. Our sequel trilogy, the sequel trilogy didn't have great lightsaber. It was great. It was good. It was good. I don't think it was horrible. It was like, but it wasn't the flip around kind of.
It wasn't Revenge of the
awesome
Sith
lightsaber battles. No, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't Phantom Menace. I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah,
It wasn't Phantom Menace level. But it seems like we're going to get some new combat, some new lightsaber combat that's going to be acrobatic, fantastic. I cannot wait for this series because Ahsoka Tano is one of my favorite characters in Star Wars, period. Today I watched all of Tales of the Jedi with my sister, brother-in-law, and my dad. They had never seen it, by the way. Sacrilegious, I know. I know, right? I would have thought that at least my sister would have seen it. I thought my dad would have seen it because he's always up in something. He's watching something, and he loves Star Wars animation. He liked Clone Wars. He liked Rebels. I'm surprised he didn't get into Tales of the Jedi until today, but he loved it, man. Like my dad, when he's watching something and he's like engaged and not like talking to anybody, like he's into it. My dad was so into Tales of the Jedi. You see like the Ahsoka stuff and the Dooku stuff, but God, Ahsoka is one of my favorite characters. Thank you for joining, Ro. Good to see you in the chat. I guess it's got to be Ro. It's got to be my man, Ro. But definitely the biggest news of the day, the biggest show of the day, I think everybody is excited for this because everyone loves Ahsoka. Everybody.
Yeah. And I mean,
I guess there's some people who might not, but
yeah, they don't matter. But
no, don't say that. That's messed up. Don't say that.
Okay, they matter, just not as much as you and me.
They matter. That's not right, man. You ain't right.
But no, I mean it's setting up the heir to the Empire, and I have so many speculations. We see the quantum realm where Ahsoka travels through time, where Ezra actually travels through time. We see Ahsoka fighting that dark Jedi in there, so maybe that's an older Ezra that's gone through crap, and he's just like, no. I mean, we haven't even explored that possibility. Maybe it's him. Maybe it's another dark Jedi from another time that just jumped in. I mean, there's so many possibilities.
What if Ezra's a dark Jedi? What if he's that old guy?
That's what I'm saying.
He's probably not.
Through time, and that's an older version of him that came back and is like hating on everybody. That's a possibility.
I don't think so. I think that'd be horrible.
We know he can travel through time, and he wants to go back and
don't do that. Don't do that, my boy.
I mean, I wouldn't enjoy it, but it's possible, because he's the one
But I don't think that's how the quantum realm of the Force. I don't think that's how the God, what do they call it? God, I can't think of the name of it right now. Ah, crap. I don't think that's how the time travel stuff works in Star Wars.
I mean, we'll have to see because
the world between worlds. That's what it is. I don't think that's how the world between world works.
We don't know how it works. I mean, we'll figure it out eventually.
We don't. Granted, we don't, but I don't think that's how it works.
Well, I mean, there's just so many options. I mean, it could be that's a clone of a Jedi, like Jar Sabath was in the Heir to the Empire books.
Yeah. Or Luke.
Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker.
It's almost like how the Carolina Panthers used to
Ahsoka even said, "Look, yeah, if you're from North Carolina, that's right, Luke Kuechly." But Ahsoka even says, "Heir to the Empire." Oh my God, that might have been my favorite part of the trailer. You're gonna acknowledge, dude. I bet Timothy Zahn was over the moon or that he saw it. I know he did. His novel that was created way back in what was it, 1990?
Yeah, it may have been the first way back then. I mean, just way back.
Yeah, so that was his first novel with Thrawn in it, and to hear that referenced in this trailer, it has to be some sort of play, some sort of riff on Heir to the Empire, this whole situation. And we can see that we're after the original trilogy. Thrawn is the leading commander in this conglomerate, this remnant of the Empire. And he's coming back with a vengeance, man. We're getting Heir to the Empire. It's not going to be the same as the book. It's not going to be. So if that's what you're thinking, just go on and put that out of your head. Obviously, we've already seen the entire Rebels crew minus Zeb, who's probably going to show up anyways in this trailer. So they're already involved. I'm hoping Luke gets involved somewhere. Dude, what if we get like Luke in the Dave Filoni? I know we've already talked about the Dave Filoni film, but this is definitely involved with all of that. What if we get like Luke Skywalker in the Dave Filoni film with Ahsoka fighting Thrawn? Gosh, it's not the original story, but I would love to see it. I would love to see it.
It's just going to be amazing. I mean, it just is amazing. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. It's just beautiful.
And I don't know what else you can say about it. I don't know what else we can say about the trailer other than it was breathtaking. We see the Rebels characters. We see these new Dark Jedi or Sith cultist people. We don't know. And we're excited about it. There's so much going on. So
I will be going back and rewatching this trailer.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're going to analyze it, and we'll probably get another couple. We'll probably get another couple of trailers before this comes out. Let's see what Rose said here. Let's revisit this in a few years. Luke will be in the Filoni movie taking care of business. I totally agree. I think it would be a mistake not to. And look, and think of how great the Luke AI is right now. He looks fantastic. Like Book of Boba Fett Luke. There was a little bit of like deadness behind the eyes, just a little bit. But it was really, I mean, gosh, you only notice that kind of stuff when you watch it 4 or 5 times. Like you go back and like, oh man, there's like a little bit of, but I mean, no more than some guy who's like high when he's out there performing and they're recording him. So I imagine where that technology is going to be when they put that in this film, 2 years, 3 years from now. There's no specific dates for this movie yet. So, I mean, I'm thinking 2025, mid to late 2025. But I think Luke's going to be involved. Ahsoka's going to be involved. Din Djarin. I bet Bo-Katan. I think anyone that's been like anyone in this Mandoverse is going to be like the Avengers Endgame of Star Wars. That's what I'm envisioning this as.
Yeah.
And if it's really not, that's okay. But just how it's been described, that's just the general stuff we've got so far. That's what it seems like it's going to be. I'm excited for it. I think the main thing from today, though, there is a future for Star Wars. There's another at least 2 to 3 years of content planned. That's just the stuff they've told us about. That's not even the stuff they're keeping under wraps that they're coming up with as we speak. Because, they're always coming up with more stuff. Yeah. But Star Wars is alive and well. There's hope. I mean, there's great stuff on the docket. I mean, all the Dave Filoni movie news, the shows. Yes, Star Wars isn't dead, Ro. And that's a little inside joke. It's a Red 5 thing, I think, at this point. No, it's not dead, man. There's so much going on. All the shows announced, Skeleton Crew, Ahsoka, Acolyte's coming out. We didn't think some people put it on the back burner, thought it was dead. That's coming out. There's so much planned for Star Wars that I'm excited. I mean, even I'm excited about the Rey movie. I'm not the biggest fan of the sequel trilogy, but we're starting with a new slate. I mean, the 15 years, you get some space on it. There's things that can be done. We're going way back to the dawn of the Jedi. I mean, that's amazing. I think there's so much going on. There's so much hope. I think they've put it in the hands of the right people. I think we're kind of, you didn't see Ryan Johnson's name put in for the Dawn of the Jedi or the new Rey movie or the what Dave Filoni's movie. You didn't see Deborah Chow, who they had doing what was the name of her movie? Rogue Squadron?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. They didn't have her name in there. I think that they're putting it in the hands of the right people who've been successful lately, people who've done great work, people that that Disney's worked with. I really think I think Star Wars has a bright future. I think they do. Yes.
Good.
Thank the maker.
Yeah, it's a bright
Thank
future.
the maker.
And,
I got it.
I'm
I'm
just
hitting
glad
show. There it is. Thank the maker.
I'm glad that we have some new movies to look forward to going and seeing. And yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So we're at the close, I think, of day one of celebration. We've talked an hour and a half already about this. We've got 3 more days of news. I can't wait. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll do a live tomorrow night. I don't know. Maybe we'll do one. I don't know. We're kind of flying on the cusp. Keep on the Dork Wars channels, Twitter, mostly. That's kind of where we put out most of our stuff. Facebook, maybe. Check out all that to kind of find out what we're going to do the next couple of days. I think we're just going to kind of play it by ear and just bring you news when we want to bring you news about Star Wars Celebration. The good thing is it probably going to end about 1:00 all these days because it's in London. And we'll be here to keep you up, review it, tell you what we think about it, and to give you the facts about what's happening with Star Wars at Star Wars Celebration. Grant, you got anything else to say before we bring this thing out?
all I can say is I'm prepared for more Cal Kestis, and I think we're going to see some over the next few days.
I know we didn't really talk about Jedi Survivor very much. I think every time I tuned in back to that was a trailer that played. Was that a trailer that was brought out today?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything on it. No, everyone's talking about all the
Really?
stuff we talked about tonight. So no one's
Oh
really
yeah,
talking about that.
I think so too. And Jedi Survivor comes out at the end of this month to play on PlayStation 5, Xbox, all that. So that's going to be really cool. But as always, check out Dork Wars, the podcast. I know we've been away for a little bit. We've kind of been Grant's a new dad, and I've been crazy busy, and all those dorks have been just dorking out on other things. It's been crazy, but we're coming back to you. We're getting in there. So check out dorkwarspodcast.com. You can find everywhere we stream our episodes. You can find our YouTube channel that you're on right now. You can find our merch store. You can find all of that. You can just find us there, dorkwarspodcast.com. We got a link tree. You can find us there. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that great stuff. Check out the Red 5 Network as always. Love you guys. And it's a good family. It's a good time. And we'll bring you some more Star Wars Celebration in the next, maybe tomorrow, maybe Sunday. We're going to recap it all for you. So thank you. And may the Force be with you.
Thank you for supporting Dork Wars, the podcast. You can check us out on facebook.com/Dork Wars, the podcast. And if you would like to join in on the discussion or maybe suggest topics for us to discuss, please do so by joining our Discord community or sending us an email at dorkwarspodcast@gmail.com.